Hey there amigos, Tio here. It's been a long 3 weeks since the last video. The technical guy has had nothing but technical issues. 3 weeks worth. Who do you call when you yourself, the problem solver for the shops that you work for, can't solve your own problems? Well, luckily for me, I have people like Isaac with Auto Rescue Tools and Equipment for the equipment that I either purchased from him or the updates that I got on the machines. He's been great. But in this video, I think you're gonna find out a lot of things that'll hopefully help you. I hope so, because a lot of things I didn't have help with. But the first thing I did have help with was the videos. My subscribers, the few that I have, inspiration. That's why I decided to go further, because I really thought maybe I should just give that part up, because I don't know how a lot of these YouTubers do their videos, and I don't know, I'm still learning. But the wife convinced me that I needed a new computer. The old one was 8 years old. It's done. The new one should fix that problem. The subscribers, the few that there are, I appreciate all of you. Two of you stand out right up in front. AZ Rick and My Pony 73. From the beginning, you've been telling me keep the vids up and everything else, so that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping the vids up. So the computer is done. I tried memory cards and everything else, and that didn't work out. But all right, so moving on from that, I've been plagued with problems trying to solve my customers' problems. And one thing that I always do is on Sundays, I make sure that I come in and update my equipment, charge it up, make sure that it's ready for the week. More so is because during the week I use a jetpack for all my info. And I had an incident back in March that taught me, make sure you do it on your Wi-Fi and not your jetpack. I had got my yearly updates for the Autels and such from Isaac. Nothing on him, it was just, that's what I did. And Isaac from Auto Rescue Tools and Equipment, not a sponsor, but he's a really good guy. This is my programming computer, come from him, as you know from previous videos. But I downloaded the updates, and unfortunately I didn't pay attention, and it was doing it from here. No big deal, it got done, but what happened was a shop had called me to program a engine computer for a F-150, and that's when I learned that my 15 gigs, when it reaches that, it throttled back. Anyway, I wasn't able to do it. I was having problems there. I didn't know what the problem was. But Isaac had always told me, and I got it back when he told me that, he said, keep an Ethernet cable, at least 100-foot Ethernet cable with you, and that way you can plug into the shop. And I have one. It's in my cabinet, and I went to plug it in, but the shop didn't have no place for me to plug in. So that was embarrassing. And I told him, I said, I still have 5 days until my pack resets. So, and I won't be offended if you take it to the dealer and let them do it. Well, 5 days later, he called me, and of course I went back and did it. So that was just a lesson learned. But then, just last week, I was working on an 06 Cadillac DTS, secondary air system problem. And of course, if you do this, you know that normally you can tell what they've already replaced by the time you look at the codes and stuff. And I was checking the system and keeping this short as I can. The shop owner come over and told me, no, the air pumps over here is what we replaced. I realized what you replaced, but what I'm checking here. And the check valve, the solenoid, is what I was checking, looking at the live data. And it turned out to be the solenoid for the secondary air pump. And I could see all the information on my Autel. And I pinned it out with my DVOM, and I could see that was a problem. And that's okay. But when I come in Monday, because that was on a Friday, when I come in Monday, the problem was I went back to read it with my Autel, and it wouldn't read the live data. And actually, everything that was going on made it look as though something was wrong with the car. It wouldn't communicate every time I logged into it to the actual live data. It would read if there were codes. But long story short, there was an update on Sunday, and I had put the GM update on there, and that had somehow affected it. And I used the shop owner's Autel. I think he has a 906 or something. It worked fine. We could look at the live data. I could pin it out. Problem solved. Now I just know that on Sundays when I update them, I'm going to be kind of leery which ones I do, because I don't update all the cars that are in it. I only load your basic Ford, Chevys, Toyotas, Hondas and stuff, the Maseratis and stuff. If I ever see it, there's software there for it, I'll put it on there, but I don't let it use up the space on my equipment. So that is where I go with that. So I'm kind of leery how I do that, but I use the Launch a whole lot now. I really like the Launch. I did a video a while back saying how to only use it a handful of times, because I bought this in 2019. It's come up on 2 years in August. Yeah, and I didn't buy this from Isaac, because I didn't know him at the time when I bought this. I actually bought this on Amazon, and it was from overseas or whatever, and I was told not to do that, and I was actually just looking to see what it would do, and I didn't realize I was going to really like it, because I'm really liking it now. And is there one scan tool for everything? No, because all the different scan tools I have, mostly Autel, they work very well. And the last 3 weeks, not so much. Not that there's a problem with them. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But the Launch does a lot of things that the Autel won't, such as when I'm doing VWs, when you hook in, you don't have to put in the motor and all that. It knows. So the Launch, you have to put all that stuff in there. So it works real well. So, but the Launch, right after I did the last video, it had an error, a disaccord error, and I have support cards with the kit that I got back 2 years ago, and you can't get hold of anyone. And I called everybody I could think of to try to figure out how to do it. And between my wife, my son down in Florida, and the internet, and it was finally figured out. It's back. And actually, I put an SD card in it to give it more memory, so I could put other make and models on here, because there really wasn't a whole lot of room. So if anybody wants me to do a separate video on that disaccord error, because I couldn't find much info on it, and you have one of these ones from overseas, maybe I can help you out. But yeah, it's working really well, and I'm using it a lot for the browser. So when I'm pulling up my service info, I don't have to keep printing out the wiring diagrams. I can actually zoom in on it and then use my wiring diagrams. So that really works good. So I really like this Launch. I think if I ever have to go for another one, I'll definitely get it through Isaac. So that's where I'm at there. So the the rest of them, I just update them as they go. That's how it works. So I left the last video off talking about an 03 Trailblazer. That was the shop had put two, I don't know if I said that, but they had put two throttle bodies on, and I was called in to see if the engine computer was bad, because they were thinking it was bad because the car wouldn't start, and when it did, it would sputter back and not run. And I think I said something about the alarm system in it. When I approached the car, I could hear relays clicking in there and the lights would flash. So it had some kind of aftermarket alarm system. And ultimately, in the end, I can't say for sure, I think the alarm system may have been a primary cause. But what I did was, let's see if I can get this up here. I had the, I pinned out, I don't even know if you can see it as good. I pinned out the, at the tack motor, the throttle actuator control motor, on the tack side and on the PCM side, and the readings were just fine. That wasn't the problem. The live data that the owner was seeing on his Autel wasn't right. It was showing 5.3 volts. It wasn't showing the changes, but what I pinned out was correct. That's what we're supposed to see. So I started going a whole nother direction and going back old school, forgetting computers, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's an exhaust obstruction, and because that happens. And so popped the upstream O2 sensor out, car fired up, loud, but fired up and running nice and smooth. So yes, the converter was completely clogged, and that fixed it. But there is a TSB on this car for the alarm system, aftermarket alarm systems, and it talks about the relays actually keeping it active when the car is running, keeping certain things. You have to read into it. But for 03 Trailblazer, be sure to read TSB on the aftermarket alarm systems, because I believe that is what actually caused that to go. Because as I approached the car, the relays were already activating. So that's what I think on that one. So the other car I talked about in the other video was the 01 Mitsubishi Montero Sport. It was a crank, no start, and the shop owner calls it a project car. That's the one I had the launch code right before the disaccord problem that gave me 12 ID not equal. None of the Autels would actually read it, not the key reader, nothing. It wouldn't log into it at all. When I manually put the VIN number in, it would say failed to identify, and so nothing on the Autels worked. I couldn't even get in through OBD info. So I don't know what the problem is there. There is a 12 to 16 adapter that comes with the Autel. It told me to use that. I did it with and without. That didn't work. Nothing on the Autel would read anything. The launch gave me that code 12 ID not equal, and that was without the adapter, the 12 to 16 adapter. At one point it said, when I tried to get it to the immobilizer, it said use the 12 to 16 adapter. My kit didn't come with one, but I did find one online through Amazon, and it was only like $9. So I went ahead and ordered that and got it, and there was no difference, no change. So that didn't work out for me. I pinned out the immobilizer and PCM, powers and grounds, everything seemed fine. From the MFI through down to the immobilizer to the PCM, all that seemed fine. I have what I'm supposed to have. I brought the PCM inside here and took it out and hooked it to the Go Diag and pinned it out. Did the pin out for the connectors to make sure I had all the powers and grounds, weren't missing anything, and that wasn't no change. But by that time, the launch wasn't working. The disaccord error was there. I was able to use this. I got this back when I got the launch. They gave this to me free. It's a Creator 319. It's just an OBD reader, and it read code P1610, which, according to what I see, that's security issue as well. So right, what we thought from the beginning. So the shop owner has a used PCM for this vehicle, and that has the same results, but it's not even programmed for that vehicle. So don't even know if I can program it. I'm really unsure about everything on this one. But that is the information that I've got from the vehicle based on what I see. There is a video on YouTube. I forgot his name. I feel bad. But it's a 20-minute video in Spanish. The guy talks about logging in with the Autel, and he was able to get into it just by regular OBD, and mine didn't do it. I don't remember which Autel he had, but his did. Mine didn't. Not surprised. But he went through and showed he couldn't get into the immobilizer and everything. At the end, he pretty much was thinking what I'm thinking is, you're going to have to get a PCM, an immobilizer, and a set of keys, and they all match and to put onto that vehicle. And at this point, I've got one more option out there I'm waiting for a response on, but that's really where I'm at with it. I really don't know where to go next. Unless you guys have any ideas, that's where I'm at. You can't win them all. So anyway, this coming up week, it's full week. I actually have another trip out to the county that I'll be taking in the E250. I've made a couple trips out there since I did that fuel line video. If y'all remember that. I like using the van for the long trips because air conditioning and cruise control, and it was really nice on the last trip last week. So I've got another one coming up. They've got a PCM the customer ordered from Flagship. I'll leave it at that. So we're doing it again. Anyway, yeah, that's coming up. So let me know what you guys think about the videos. Do you want to see the full diagnosis as we go along, or you want to see the highlights of what we're doing in that repair and move on to the next? In between shots, I mean, what do you want to see? Let me know. So that's why I'm still doing this, is because of you guys. So let me know. But until then, until next time, amigos.